Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after our intermission. We are here coming to you live from the Arnold Sports Festival, the 2025 USA Powerlifting Male Raw Challenge here in the Greater Columbus Convention Center. My name is Kevin Serrano. I'm here joined by
Dane Roach, and
we will be your commentators for today's session. We are just getting started. We are just under a minute underway in our opening attempts, and we will be calling all the live action play-by-play commentary here as you see it on your screen.
Looking forward to this session. There's a lot of new faces, some familiar faces, and the morning is action-packed, so looking forward to seeing this session match or beat the intensity of that one.
We hear the music rumbling, and we hear Gino calling the bar is loaded. Starting us off here on platform 1, we have Kurt Navarro opening us up with 172.5 kilos, and Caden Schaffelman over on platform 2 with 230 kilos.
Kurt, a long-time lifter out of California, I believe, on platform 1.
Easy squat there for Kurt on 1. Caden walks out 230 very easily. Gets that squat command.
3 white lights for Kurt, off to a good start on 1.
Very explosive opener for Caden on 2. Referees say 3 white lights.
Eric Hogan out of Maine on platform 1, coming up for his opening attempt at 202.5.
I actually got a chance to meet Eric Hogan at the Northeast Regional Championship over in Portland, Maine. Very great guy.
Looks like Craig Davis on 2 will be our next lifter, taking 235 to start.
I see he's got a Nori powerlifting shirt.
Eric opening up at 202.5, 446 pounds in the 67.5 kilogram weight class.
Both lifters getting set up right here.
17 seconds left on Eric's clock to get the squat command.
Easy opener by Craig on 2.
Good speed on the opener for Eric.
Craig gets 2-1, 1 red light on the right referee side, but still, nonetheless, it was a good lift. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you can see a bit of stats here. You have the lifter's name, the current attempt, which is their opening weights for now, and we see that their body weight is posted at 1 kilogram. Dane, can you explain a little bit more as to why their body weight is at 1 kilo?
So the body weight is at 1 kilogram because the meet is scored based off of dots. So rather than being scored by who has the highest total per weight class, everybody's competing against everybody based on the dots formula. Whoever's formula is the highest is the winner.
Absolutely. So just to expand on that, dots is a coefficient that takes the lifter's body weight and the amount of weight lifted, and it spits out a number, which is your dots coefficient. And so all these lifters across both platforms are competing against one another. So this isn't a weight class competition as you would expect to see at a national or like a state championship. These lifters are all competing against each other across all weight classes.
Correct. It's a good way to compare, because sometimes it can be difficult because the total of a lifter that's in the 110 kilogram weight class versus the 48 kilogram weight class would be hard to compare. Whereas this is a way that you can compare across groups and see who's the best overall lifter.
So just to catch you guys up on the action, Luke Monovan over on platform 2 squatted 240. That was a good lift. And Terrell Monroe on platform 1, 207.5 kilos, was a good lift. Currently, Jose Barbara over here on platform 2, 242.5 kilos. That is a good lift. Joshua Clark on platform 1, 210 kilos. It looks to be a good lift. Let's see what those referees say. 3 white lights. That is a good lift for him.
Starting off strong on our openers, everyone's successful so far.
Again, a lot at stake here. Every single one of these lifters is going head-to-head in this competition at the Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge.
Rito Flores on platform 1, opening up with 212.5. 469 pounds.
Jordan Flowers on 2, taking the bar up to 265 kilos for his opening attempt squat.
Rito had to fight for that sticking point a little bit on his opener there, but he was successful. 3 white lights. Anthony Boy up next, same weight, 212.5.
Bar is loaded for Jordan on 2, who's actually making his Arnold debut.
Anthony's bar is called loaded on platform 1.
Anthony Poi on platform 1, a lifter from Rhode Island. Jordan Flowers adjusting his knee sleeves off the platform here. 30 seconds left on the clock for him.
Successful lift for Anthony on platform 1. Up next, also taking 212.5, we have Thomas Coons from Michigan, actually a University of Michigan alum, I do believe, so in enemy territory here in Columbus.
Very high bar position there for Jordan, but a very easy attempt for him, 3 white lights.
As well as being a competitor himself, Thomas is also a successful coach with several clients that have competed at nationals, at various nationals in the past.
Coming in very close here to 600 pounds on platform 2. Quentin attempting 270 kilos for his opening attempt, 595 pounds. Thomas Coons making 212.5 kilos, easy over on platform 1. Referees say 3 white lights. That is a good lift.
Very good opener, really technically sound for Thomas. Silver Garcia up next. Bars being ordered for 222.5, approaching the 500-pound mark here. We're at 490 pounds.
Bar almost flew off his back for Quentin, but unfortunately, he will get a unanimous 3 red lights for depth.
Garcia takes the bar, has about 30 seconds left on his clock to get the commencement signal on his squat. Very controlled opener there for Silver. Wait for the lights here, and he gets the 2-to-1. Looks like the chief referee threw a blue card, which could either be downward movement or failure to lock the knees. Bar never dipped down, to my assumption would be they called him failure to lock the knees.
And a very speedy 600-pound opener for Gavin over on platform 2. 3 white lights from the referees. That is a good lift.
Silver's lift was still successful. You only need 2 white lights, so he was successful on his opener, and it will load the bar up even heavier for a second.
Again, in powerlifting, it is a majority rule, so if 2 referees deem the lift no good and give a red light, that will be a no lift. But if 2 referees give a white light, that means the lift is good.
Casey Pham up on platform 1, opening up at 230 kilos, rather 507 pounds. We've broken the 500-pound barrier. That is a good lift for Casey, 2-to-1. The left side referee called him for depth, but it's a successful lift for Casey. Mark Frizzell up next, 237.5.
We're now moving along on platform 2 with our second attempt squats. Craig Davis will be moving to 247.5 kilos, a 12.5 kilo jump for him.
Something I'll be curious to see. The Arnold's notorious for being very fast-paced, very good spotters, very good toters. So adjusting to that accordingly with the strategy and attempt selection will be key.
A bit of work for Craig on that second attempt. It gets 1 red light it gets a blue card and maybe some knees. Failure to lock out the knees at the top of the squat, but nonetheless, he secures 247.5 kilos, which is a 2.5 kilo for him.
Mark Frizzell takes the bar. Back in, and the lift is no good, 2-to-1. So the center referee and the right side referee get a red card for depth. The center referee also get a yellow card, which could be a variety of different infractions.
Craig Davis taking a 20 kilo jump from opener to second on platform 2. Despite the 20 kilo jump for Caden, he still makes it move, gets 3 white lights there.
Looks like Derek Sanchez will take 245 kilos for his opener. A little bit of work for him.
Jarek's actually a junior lifter, so very impressive for him to be competing here at the Arnold Sports Festival stage. Such a young lifter at such an incredible stage here today.
Good lift for Jarek, 2 to 1. Looks like after a pretty tough opener for Rito Flores, he decided to scratch his second and his third. He will not be taking any additional squats.
Luke gets that squat command.
Kurt Navarro will be taking the second at 180 kilos, 396 pounds. We start second attempt on platform 1.
Good work by Luke. Secures that second attempt with 255 kilos. Kurt Navarro coming to us from San Diego, owner of Convoy Strength.
A good lift for Kurt, 2 to 1. They're depth call on one side.
Jose successful with his 15 kilo jump of 257.5. Also his debut at the Arnold going well, 2 for 2 so far.
Bars called loaded for Eric Hogan, 215 kilos, 12.5 kilo jump from his opener, 474 pounds here.
Quentin coming up next here on platform 2, retaking 270 kilos, which he got called for depth unanimously on his opener. Let's see if he can fix that here on his second attempt. Again, all Quentin needs is to get a little deeper this time.
Eric really dialing in his focus for his second attempt here.
Eric and Quentin both walk out their squats, get those squat commands.
Great speed for Eric second there.
And it looks like Quentin fixed that depth issue, gets 3 white lights by the referees, and he is now on the board.
A bit of a delay on the lights, Eric, but the lift was good according to Gino.
Andrew Ernst here on platform 2, 606 pounds, 5 wheels on the bar, 275 kilos. Andrew's coming in very close to his all-time best, just 10 kilos shy so far.
Terrell Monroe here, second attempt, 222.5 kilos.
And that is easy for Andrew. A lot more left in the tank for him. Expect the big third from him.
Pretty sizable 15 kilo jump. My math is right, although it's not my strongest suit. Moved very well though.
Terrell last competed at the Open World Cup in 2024. Very experienced lifter there.
Anthony Poy breaking into the 500-pound range with a 227.5 kilo second attempt. That's 501 pounds.
Jordan Flowers, another one of our lifters that competed at the Open World Cup last year. This is his first Arnold appearance. Coming to us from Tennessee. Very high bar position for Jordan here. Undeniable depth. And easy work out of that. Let's see what those referees say. 3 white lights. He's feeling himself today.
Great depth for Anthony. Strong grind to help position well. Referees say. Looks good.
Bit of work on that second attempt for Anthony, but still gets it on the board. Let's see what the coaches decide to do for his third attempt.
These experience of some of these lifters at local World Cup, nationals, things like that definitely will be helpful for him at the Arnold here. The atmosphere is very similar, but there are some key differences in terms of the pace, the atmosphere, the crowd, because others that are at the expo will come up and actually watch and add that energy that you may not get in the same manner at Raw Nationals.
Again, what an electric environment it is to be here at the Arnold, just with the video board, the caliber of referees, and just the insane amount of talent here at the Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge. That is a good lift on platform 2, 3 white lights.
Nicely done by Thomas Cruz on platform 1. The lift is good.
We're now closing in on finishing up our Flight C opening final squats here on platform 2. Craig Davis will start us off with his third attempt squat of 252.5 kilos, taking a 5 kilo jump.
I mentioned the speed a couple times already, but just for a frame of reference, we're about 15 minutes in and we're already on third attempts on platform 2. That's something that strategy-wise, coaches, lifters all need to be aware of so they can adjust attempts and whatnot accordingly.
Very nice squat on platform 1 for Joshua Clark. And with that, 3 white lights, he actually secures and adds 2.5 kilos to his all-time best. Coming into this competition, his best was 227.5, and he just locks in 230 kilos on his second attempt. Craig Davis on platform 2, 252.5 kilos. Craig grinding out that squat, locks it out, gets that recommend from Chief Referee Alexander Walters, and he gets 3 white lights.
Very nice attempt selection there for the third. And we also don't want to understate just how difficult it is to hit a PR under conditions like this with national and international referees in the chair and any travel that may have taken place and the pressure that's there. So any PR on a stage like this is big time.
Again, this is totally different from competing at a local meet. Here you have high caliber referees. These are national and international referees who are adjudicating your lifts. So you are, not only is the pressure on with your fellow competitors, but so is the standard here in USA Powerlifting.
Silver Garcia successful on platform 1. Success rate so far in both of these points very, very high, with only been 1 missed squat on each platform.
Luke Monovan walks out 265 kilos, another 10 kilo jump for him.
Casey Pham, second attempt at 240 kilos.
And he nods his head with aggression. Let's see what those referees say. 3 white lights. Very awesome squat by Luke here on platform 2. Casey Pham taking a 10 kilo jump to 240 kilos.
Casey moves it quickly. Referees say lift is not good. Looks like depth calls.
So unfortunately, in Casey's situation, he did not squat low enough. So something he will need to fix for coming into his third attempt.
Mark Frizzell was unsuccessful on his opener with 237.5 and increased the weight to 250 kilos, 551 pounds.
Caden taking another aggressive jump, 15 kilos for his third attempt. Let's see how that plays out here. He makes great work out of that. I mean, that's a strategy that really plays off for him, starting off very light and being able to leave as much room in the tank to build off from that.
Mark's lift is not good. Had a couple different fractures going on there, but he'll get another chance to retake that one.
Now, a bit of a tough situation to be here if you're Mark Frizzell's coach. I mean, you're going into third squats, missing your opener and second attempt. So in this situation, what would you as a coach do to mitigate or at least try to salvage whatever you have left for your third squats here for Mark Frizzell's situation, Dane?
So, I mean, it looks like he has plenty of strength there. He just needs to really take his time with everything. And remember that, you know, he's done thousands and thousands of squats and doing it the same way here that he always has. He's an experienced lifter. He's competed before. So just take his time, take a breath, steady himself. He's got plenty of strength there. So just remind him of that. Remind him to stay calm. Don't change anything in terms of what his usual routine is. And he can come back in the way. It's clear that he has all the strength there.
Absolutely, definitely not a strength issue, just something you need to tweak up in the warm-up room, and hopefully he comes out and is successful in his third attempt.
Looks like Jarek was unsuccessful on his second with 255. And he started third attempts on platform 1. Bar is loaded for Kurt Navarro. Taking a smaller jump, 2.5 kilos, the minimum jump you can take up to 182.5, 402 pounds.
Jose was successful in his third attempt squat with 267.5. Currently, we have Jordan Flowers, 282.5.
And on these third attempts, every kilo matters when it comes to contributed dots points. We've seen close battles that come down, you know, a tenth of a dots point. So really making sure they're successful and making lifts.
And a very amazing grind here by Jordan Flowers, 282.5 kilos. Referees say 3 white lights. Kurt Navarro making easy work out of 400 pounds. 2-1, that is a good lift for him. Again, very great success rate thus far at the Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge. Not many misses here on the third attempts. None, actually, thus far.
Which isn't overly surprising considering the qualifying criteria to keep here on the caliber of lifter we have. So, not shocking to see that high of a success rate, but always a good thing to, when it comes to getting to the highest dot score you can, getting those PRs, and just great experience.
And as we start moving into our third attempt squats, currently we have Jarek Sanchez in first place with a forecasted 520 dots point, followed by Mark Frizzell at 500 dots and Silver Garcia at 497.
Eric Hogan taking 220 kilos, 484 pounds, has Andrew Graves in his corner, screaming at him, getting him hyped up, ready for his third attempt.
And a successful 290 kilo squat by Andrew Ernst, followed up by Gavin, who's now attempting 300 kilos as his final squat.
Moved well for Eric. And no lift for Eric. Looks like the majority of the referees called depth. He'll get credit for a second at 474 pounds, 215 kilos.
Again, as an athlete, once these weights start getting very heavy, it is a natural tendency to want to cut depth in order to secure at least squatting the weight back up. So,
Tara Monroe, 227.5 on the bar, 501 pounds.
Gavin makes easy work out of 300 kilos, and with that, he actually adds 5 more kilos to his all-time best. Coming into that competition, he was at 295 kilos, and he locks in 300.
It's really critical when, especially when you're touching weights you may not have handled before, to not change anything about what you usually do, because that's when you start to think too much. It really affects how you perform on that.
And a great 500 squat there by Terrell.
That is good, 2-1.
As his coach David Garcia gets some airtime there, very excited and ecstatic for his lifter there.
Anthony Boy up next, 230 kilos, a 2.5 kilo jump up from the second.
Quentin looking to make a statement here, closing out the flight with a 302.5 kilo squat. Oh, unfortunately, unable to get that weight up. Hopefully he's okay.
Anthony Boy can't quite grind through the sticking point there.
We're hoping Quentin is all right after attempting 302.5 kilos. I believe he suffered some sort of injury. We're working on him right now.
Yeah, the medical staff is attending to him. Joshua Clark taking his third attempt at 237.5, a 7.5 kilo jump from his second, about 16.5 pound increase.
Unfortunately,
pause for platform 2 while they attend to Quentin.
stay with us, folks. Platform 2 will resume momentarily as we look to just make sure Quentin is all right.
Thomas Kuhn's taking his third attempt, also at 237 and a half. 523, 524 pounds. A 10 kilo jump from his second to his third. It's a pretty decent sized jump. The second did move quite well. He's confident going into this third.
Thomas building a lot of intensity, getting underneath that bar, stomping his feet.
With how successful you have been in Columbus region, I can see why he's so confident.
Absolutely. And with that, Thomas secures a 5 kilo PR on his squat in his Arnold debut.
Excellent execution there by Thomas. His positioning and whatnot didn't really deviate a whole lot on any attempt, and I think that's a huge contributor to why he was able to get that PR. Silva Garcia coming out with 240 kilos. We're still attending to Quentin on platform 2. Quentin is on his feet, getting assisted off the platform. Silver takes his third attempt squat.
All the best for Quentin in making sure he recovers and is back on the platform.
Close for Silver. Wasn't quite able to get the mistake going, but he'll lead with a 232.5 kilo squat.
Casey Pham up next on platform 1, who had a bit of a depth issue on his second attempt, got called by the referees. Still went up 2.5 kilos. Let's see if that extra weight can help him get down there. So now we are getting started with platform 2, flight B. Preston, our first lifter up, who actually had to wait a few minutes, about 8 minutes with after the incident with Quentin. Let's see how he is able to perform here in his opening attempt squat of 227.5 kilos, 500 pounds. Very wide stance for Preston.
Why of most importance that your openers are weight you can hit pretty much no matter what, because that way that 8 minutes won't disturb your flow or your routine, and you'll be able to hit it successfully just like Preston did.
Preston is actually one of our pro lifters.
It's like, unfortunately, lift is not good for Casey. He was called for depth. Again, he'll get credit for his opener at 230 kilos.
Brendan McGuire up next here on platform 2, 247.5 kilos, also in his Arnold debut.
Mark Frizzell will be taking his third attempt at 255 kilos. So interestingly on Mark Frizzell, it looks like he initially, his second attempt squat was marked no good, but it has been since changed to a good lift. So he now has credit for that attempt. Looking to increase that by 5 kilos going here for his third. 562 pounds.
Stands it up with ease. Mark Frizzell, let's wait for the lights.
Is good. 2-1 for Mark. Give him credit for a second and his third. Jared's going to round out third attempts for flight C on platform 1 with 255 kilos as well.
That was a good lift on 2 for Brendan McGuire. Khalil up next here on platform 2, 260 kilos, 573 pounds.
Stands it up, and referee say the lift is not good. 2-1. Called depth. He'll get credit for his first attempt at 225. And we're starting flight D on platform 1. Opening attempts. Marcus Hughes will be taking this at 220 kilos.
Very smooth opener here by Khalil. Very sick shades by Khalil here. We see him rocking those on the platform.
Hey, the lights are bright out there. You know?
Yeah.
Under the bright lights of the Arnold, sometimes you gotta have some sunglasses on. Marcus is readying himself for his opener on platform 1.
Quentin White here on platform 2.
Good opening lift for Marcus at 220. Bump it up 2.5 kilos for Ty Wynn. 22.5 on his opener.
Kevin Yaboya up next here on platform 2, 265 kilos.
Looks like Ty is actually a high or at least higher bar squatter. We see both low and high bar squats. More commonly you see low bar. For most people it tends to be a little stronger, but for some folks, high bar is their preferred way of squatting. And Ty's moved very well.
And very quick turnaround for Ty. He actually competed in January of this year. So very quick turnaround for him to compete now here at the Arnold Sports Festival in March.
Wouldn't know it based on how fast it's opening. Thomas Swart up, opening up at 225, 496 pounds.
Calm and poised, Kevin with his walkout. Gets that squat command.
Thomas is a very familiar face, not just as a competitor, but he often spots and loads for some of the bigger meets for USA Powerlifting as well. So it's pretty cool to see him out on the platform competing.
And unfortunately, that was a no lift for Kevin on 2. He got called for depth by all 3 referees. So hopefully he can fix that coming into the second and third attempts. Hopefully he can get a little deeper next time.
Looked well executed by Thomas. Referees say the lift is
Waiting on the referee lights there on 1. Brian Quimson on platform 2, 270 kilos, 595 pounds.
also opening up at 240 kilos, 500 pounds. First steps into flight.
Very deep squat by Brian, very wide stance. Up next, we got Hayden here on 2, lifter from Michigan.
Looked by Max Blackley. Never satisfied. Jason's opener. Move quickly. Referees say lift is not good. 2-1. Looks like Hayden has a very low bar position on his squat just based off of the setup.
Just look how low that bar sits on his back.
Looks like he's been told to replace the bar, probably because of that bar position.
So
Chief referee informed him what he needs to fix in order to get the signal. Nick Saya on platform 1, opening up with 240 kilos.
let's keep our eyes here on platform 2. Hayden with his very low bar squat. Let's see if he manages to get that squat command in time. He does with just 3 seconds left. And a no lift. 2 different calls from the referees, 1 for depth, and I'm not sure what the other yellow card is for, but not a good lift for him. Let's see if he can fix that for his next attempts. I mean, one of the lowest bar placements I've ever seen here, not only here at the Arnold, but ever.
If that call was by that referee that didn't think the bar was in the proper position still. Well, the 2 referees need to agree in order to get that squat fixed.
Nathaniel Neal here on platform 1, 245 kilos.
Daniel's lift is good. 2 to 1.
Lance London is actually a junior lifter. He won Junior Nationals in Salt Lake City, Utah just this past year, competing here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Sean Alexander approaching the bar on platform 1 with 245 kilos. Sean also, I've seen out there spotting and loading several different times.
Sean Alexander, a lifter out of the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
He's part of that Minnesota spotting and loading crew, the Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety.
Yes, sir.
Out there.
One of those people that loves to give back to the sport, competing here at the Arnold. Very wide squat stance there for Sean. But he stands it up with ease.
It is good, 2 to 1 for Sean. Got Jesse Norman also out of Michigan on platform 2.
Jesse looking to close out our flight here for our opening squats on platform 2.
Jesse's done a lot of meets. This is his first national level meet that he's ever competed in, so it's very interesting to see what he can do. Got a very strong squat for him. Jared Arkfeld is on 1, also from Michigan.
Very smooth and explosive squat by Jesse Norman, coached there by Brad Couliard.
Another University of Michigan product, Jared Arkfeld on platform 1.
Jared Arkfeld closing out our opening squats, making his Arnold debut. Very deep squat by him. And lift is good.
Good.
Moving right along to our second attempts here. Brendan McGuire, 262.5 kilos on platform 2. Marcus Moose on platform 1, 232.5 kilos.
Interestingly, platform 2 is caught up to platform 1 after the break that was taken to take care of Quinn. And they're now basically synchronized with their second attempt.
Marcus, a lifter out of Ohio.
12.5 kilo jump for Marcus. Pretty good sized jump for him, but he handles his opener very, very well.
Another one of our junior lifters here competing at the Arnold.
Marcus handled his second attempt very well. It's a good lift.
Kevin Yaboya coming to retake the same weight, 265 kilos, which on his opener he was called on depth by all 3 referees. Let's see if he can get a little deeper this time around.
Ty win on a second, also a 15 kilo jump for Ty.
Mr. Yaboya gets that squat command by our chief referee. Looks a little deeper than last time. Let's see what those referees say. Unfortunately, it is a no lift still.
Ty has been told to replace the bar. Chief referee will tell him what he needs to fix, and he has 18 seconds to get the squat command. If the referees don't deem you in the proper starting position, you'll be told to replace. They'll tell you what to fix, and then you have the rest of the time to fix it and get your command.
And a 45 kilo jump here by Preston on platform 2. Opened up with a teaser, 500 pounds, taking the bar up to 600 now.
That is no good for Ty. Looks like depth from the sides.
Preston is one of these pro lifters that competes very often.
A very unconventional jump for Preston from 227.5 to 272.5 on squat. And it doesn't matter. He lifted it just fine.
That's that Cajun power for you.
It must be. I know, as
certainly don't have it.
All right, Thomas scored out here, taking his second attempt at 245 kilos. A 20 kilo jump, which I usually say is a big jump, but after Preston, it's above average.
And another 20 kilo jump here by Khalil Casey. It was some work for Thomas, but it was smooth. No major sticking points there. And the referees say 3 white lights. Again, Khalil coming out with those shades, looking as fly as ever.
Nick Saya on platform 1. I think he's out of Arizona.
Khalil with that matching shirt and belt buckle and shoes. Plenty deep. Grinds out that squat and locks in 280 kilos for a second attempt squat.
You look good, you lift good. He's a testament to that.
Absolutely true.
Nick will not be successful on his second. He'll have a chance to retake that on his third. We have Jason Moss also with a 20 kilo jump. He was actually unsuccessful on his opener with 240 kilos. Went up to 60.
James Moss with an interesting strategy here on platform 1. Let's see how that plays out for him.
Don't see that all that often, but depending on what the interaction was, if it was just something like a missed command, sometimes folks will increase that on their second attempt, even after not succeeding with the drill.
Interesting strategy, but I mean, Jason forecasted he's battling, he can sneak into the top 5 position if he hits his attempt. So I mean, maybe this is a strategy just to kind of sneak into in there.
It definitely moved well. The strength is not an issue.
Definitely not a strength issue. Let's see what the referees say.
Lift is good.
And looks like that played off. He adds 20 kilos to his squat.
You know, sometimes in scenarios like this, you take risks that you wouldn't typically take because you're trying to get to the podium, you're trying to earn a pro card, you're trying to win the money. So in other scenarios, you may not do that. This may be a time where you do and take the gamble and see what happens.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, a lot is at stake here. These two platforms of gentlemen are battling against each other for the top dots position. Very wide stance there by Brian Quisman on platform 2. Another 20 kilo jump for him.
Jared Arkfeld on platform 1.
These gentlemen seem to be taking very aggressive jumps thus far on squats, but it seems to be playing out for them very favorably.
A little bit of work for Jared, but stands it up. Lift is no good. Looks like a few different things happen on that one. I will say quite a few of these guys, their openers were very easy, so that may be a planned strategy to make a very, very easy opener and take that big jump and decide to conserve energy rather than waste
Again,
too much energy on that.
Again, as we're closing out on our second attempts here with 3 left to go on platform 2, Hayden, another one of these lifters that missed their opening attempt squat, but still opted to go up in weight, going from 277.5 kilos to 295. Let's see.
Now the bar is higher on his back now than it was. Still quite low. And he's been told to replace again.
Again, asked to replace the bar by our chief referee, Alexander Walters, who I believe is instructing him to stand erect.
That one maybe less on the bar position itself and more so just the fact that he had so much forward lean. Sean moves his weight well on platform 1. Hayden's going to time out on platform 2. He got told to replace again and his clock has expired. Now, if his coach Max Blackwood disagrees with what was called, he can go to the jury and request a relift. But it doesn't look like he's headed over the road that way at this time. Nope, just kidding. He turned around and he is headed that way. We'll see what the jury has to say.
Again, it looked like Hayden was in agreement that he will fix whatever it is that Alexander Walters was having him replace the bar with. Hopefully he can come back on his third attempt and actually hit a squat and get himself on the board.
Nathaniel Neal on platform 1, rounding out second attempt with a 270 kilo squat. just under 600 pounds for Nathaniel on his second attempt.
There's a shot of our chief referee, Alexander Walters, on platform 2.
15 kilo jump for Nathaniel, and his second moved extremely easily. He doesn't get one red light, but the lift is good. We'll start third attempts on platform 1.
Lance London here with a 300 kilo second attempt squat. Comes down very deep. Bit of an uneven lock out there on the bar, but still stands up with it. And the referees say 3 white lights, that is a good lift. Again, doesn't need to look pretty, it just needs to go up.
Ty Wynn was unsuccessful on his second, went up 2.5 kilos to 240.
Jesse Norman will close out our second attempt squats on platform 2, taking a 35? 25 kilo jump on his opener to second attempt squat to 310 kilos.
Ty Wynn taking his third on platform 1. Takes it deep, pushes through a sticking point.
And that'll be a successful lift for Ty.
Good lift for Ty. Now, talking with Jesse prior to this, I know because it was his first national meet, he did want to make sure that he put something easy up on the board first. So this bigger jump is likely very much a part of the coach's plan to now bump that squat up and get above the 700-pound mark on his third attempt.
Again, in this competition, it is not the single lifts that matter, it is the total that matters, which will give you the best opportunity to post up the highest dots possible. And it looks like it's working in Jesse Norman's favor as he gets another squat on the board, 310 kilos for him.
I would not be surprised to see them put 320 on there for 706, 705.
Marcus on 1. Plenty deep there on his squat, stands up with it with a smile on his face, and with that he adds 10 kilos to his all-time best coming into this competition. His best was 232.5 and walks away with 242.5.
A 10 kilo PR is always a big PR, but especially at the Arnold, that's not something you're going to see too terribly often. And to go 3 for 3 and do that, Marcus has himself in a very good position coming out squat.
All eyes on platform 2 as Kevin Yaboya looks to secure a squat on the board, having missed his opener and second attempt squat here. Both calls on depth. Let's see if we can get a little deeper this time around. That looks good to me.
Deeper than his first and second, that's for certain.
And the referees agree. 3 white lights. He is on the board and stays in the meet.
Nick Saya taking his 252.5 for his third after missing it on his second. He stands up with it. Let's see what the referees have to say about it. Lift is not good. Looks like he got a depth call from all 3. He'll get credit for his opener at 240 kilos.
10 kilo jump here for Brendan McGuire on platform 2. Looking to match his all-time best here. Plenty deep, and he stands up with it with a nod on his face with authority. 3 white lights for him.
Thomas Swart out taking his third at 252.5 kilos.
Again,
156 pounds.
Again, such a confidence booster for these lifters to end their squat session 3 for 3.
That's a great point, and it's huge to go into bench not having missed a lift. Your confidence is high, feeling good about things. That's only going to then something you can build upon, continue upon.
Again, there's plenty of lifting left to go. Unfortunately, it's not there today for Thomas. He will come back for bench.
Good credit for his second at 245 kilos. Father's Motors did a great job keeping him safe on that one. Just like Thomas does for many, many of our lifters that are.
Quentin White here on 2. Putting up a fight with 287.5 kilos, but unfortunately it is not there today. Khalil Zaki up next here with 290 kilos. Jared on 1.
Successful on his second at 262.5, retaking it on his third. can't quite fight through the sticking point.
You get credit for his opener at 255.
Again, probably our flyest lifter of the session, Khalil Zaki, up next here, closing out his squat session with 290 kilos, getting himself set up here on platform 2.
You can just take out the probably, Kevin. He's definitely the flyest. Sean Alexander at 275 kilos, 606 pounds for his third attempt.
Khalil dunks that squat, grinds it out, and yes, he nods his head. He knows that's a good lift. And a good lift it is, 3 white lights.
To imagine the glasses added at least 5 kilos.
Absolutely. Look good, lift good, feel good. Coming up next here on platform 2, Hayden needs this final squat in order to stay in the competition. Sean Alexander walks out with 275 kilos. And Sean secures that 2.5 kilo PR for him. That is a good lift. Oh, unfortunately, he got called for depth there.
So Hayden needs this. His bar is much higher than it was on his previous 2 attempts in an attempt to get the squat command. And
He does get that squat command. Let's go, Hayden. Unfortunately, not there for him.
And when you make a big technique change like that, it's going to be something that's very difficult to do on game day and be able to execute when you're not familiar with it.
Again, take into account that he did have to re-rack his opening weight several times throughout the course of his competition, so he was fairly taxed from that.
2 more attempts left on platform 1, and they will be finished with squat. Jason Moss taking 277.5. That is 611 pounds. Strong, technically sound third attempt for Jason. Lift is good.
That is a good lift for
His
Jason.
opener bounced back to hit his second and his third.
5 kilo jump here for Lance London on platform 2, 305 kilos.
Nathaniel Neal on platform 1 jumped 25 kilos from his first to his second, then 20 more kilos from his second to his third.
What an amazing squat there for Lance. Locks in 305 kilos. Referees say that is a good lift. And with that, he walks away with a 12.5 kilo PR. Congratulations, Lance.
You won't typically see that size of jump on both attempts, but Nathaniel's second attempt was extremely easy. Nathaniel moves his third very, very well. Lift is good.
Successful squat for Nathaniel to round out squats on platform 1.
We have concluded squats here on platform 1. We have 3 squats left to go here on platform 2. Brian Quimson up next here, 305 kilos.
So Nathaniel Neal was our heaviest squatter on platform 1 with that 290 kilo squat to finish us off. Jason Moss not far behind, 277.5. Strong squats taking place on 1, and we're looking to keep the pace as they go into bench press after a 10-minute break.
And that wide squat stance, tried and true. Brian locks in that third attempt, 3 white lights.
Coming up on 1, this is something, or on 2 rather, this is something Preston might not be used to. He's not the last squatter on platform 2. Jesse Norman also put in 320 kilos, but since he has a higher lot number, he'll go after us.
Preston, a multi-time bench press and full power national champion and podium finisher, competed in the 2023 Arnold Pro and is back again here at the 2025 Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge. Preston, who started us off with a 227.5 kilo opening attempt squat, jumps 45 kilos to 272.5 and looks to end his day here with a 300 and Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we get started with our bench press at the Arnold Sports Festival here in Columbus, Ohio. We are at the USA Powerlifting Male Raw Challenge. We just wrapped up squats and we're getting started with bench press. My name is Kevin Serrano. I'm here joined by, and we'll be your commentators for this session. As we get started here, our standings as our squats concluded, we have Jarek Sanchez with a forecasted 507 dots points, Mark Frizzell coming up close with 504, and Jason Moss with 497. Not too far behind is Khalil Zaki with 493 and Quentin White with 493 as well. As we get started here, our platform 1 has started. We have Kurt Navarro attempting 120 kilos as his opening bench. Makes easy work out of that, and the referees say 3 white lights.
Platform 1 a little bit ahead of platform 2 today.
A bit of a jump on them. Platform 2 will be starting up in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Just over 2 minutes for platform 2 to resume their lifting, but for now, we will walk you guys through the ongoings here on platform 1.
Called loaded for Thomas Cruz. Comes 3 for 3 on squat and look to open up with 130 kilos here on bench press. No lift off for Thomas.
Some lifters will opt to take the lift off, some won't. There could be various reasons for that.
Very fast bench there for Thomas.
Yes, so some lifters will opt to not take a lift off. It could be because they train alone. It could be because it could be an advantage to getting a quicker start command from the referee. That lift off person doesn't have to get out of the way.
I mean, it all comes down to preference, and a lot of these lifters, if they're on this platform, this stage, this means they have plenty of experience under their belts.
Biggest thing is you probably don't want to go from not getting one on game day for the first time, because that could throw off your setup and your technique.
Absolutely. As an athlete, if you wanna resemble as much of your training environment as you can here on the platform.
First 2 benches have been successful for Kurt and Thomas. Eric Hogan will take 142.5 for his opening.
Eric Hogan, one of our New England lifters. Very easy opening attempt there.
Monroe will also be taking 132.5 for his opening bench press attempt.
And for those of us who are just joining us now here on platform 2, we are just getting started with our bench presses of the day. Just 8 seconds left here. We're going to get started with Luke Monovan, who will be opening us up with 147.5 kilos. As a reminder, my name is Kevin Serrano. I will be your commentator for today, and I'm here joined by... And we'll be walking you guys to what you guys see on this screen here. Terrell Monroe, that was a very good bench press for him, 132.5 kilos. Joshua Clark up next, 137.5.
Already equipped with 300 pound barrier. Joshua Clark opens up with 300 pounds on bench press.
Our spotters and loaders getting the platform set here for Luke on platform 2.
Scratch his second and third. His opener was rather difficult, so that may have just been a decision to save energy so that bench press and deadlift could have a little more gas in the tank.
Jordan Flowers up next here, giving those fist bumps to those spotters and loaders, opening us up with 150 kilos. Rito Flores gets that start command on platform 1.
Is good for Rito. Anthony Boy will be taking the same weight, 142.5 kilos, 314 pounds.
Basically 3 plates. 3 pound plates. Technically a pound less, but we don't split hairs here.
That was a good lift on 2. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow through the action, you can go to liftingcast.com, scroll down to USA Powerlifting ASF Male Raw Challenge. There you will see the live scoring from both platforms and be able to follow the action as we see it here live on the live stream. And with that, Anthony Poi makes easy work out of 142.5 kilos, gets 2-to-1, a good lift.
Anthony Boy sinks the bench press a little bit more. You'll see some people that are soft touchers, some that are sinkers. Either is better or worse, but sinking may lead to a slightly longer press command, whereas soft touching may get you the press command a little bit quicker.
Smooth opener for Jose. Let's see where he goes from there.
Silva Garcia opening with 145 kilos, that's 319 pounds.
Very soft touch for Silver. They're getting a very quick press command. And the lift is good.
Bam now will take him 152.5 on platform 1.
Taking the bar up to 172.5 kilos here on platform 2, 100 for Craig Davis, who is making his debut at the Arnold. Very fast opener for Craig. Casey, who is giving some final instruction to those spotters and loaders on how he wants his liftoff. Again, the more specific, the better for those lifters receiving a liftoff. Absolutely.
Mark Frizzell opening up with 160 kilos on bench press. They're second last first attempt.
Caden with that max grip bench press. Very soft touch, very quick press command. Seems to be like it's a good lift. And again, here throughout the bench press, you'll start seeing very wide array of techniques. Some lifters opt to have a relatively big arch. Some use wrist wraps, some don't, and some have very wide foot placements, and some have very narrow. So it really comes down to the lifters on what works for them best.
To your point there, Mark has a narrower grip on the bar for his opening attempt. Lift is good.
Now, folks often think the wider the grip, the less range of motion, the better, but that's not necessarily where folks feel the strongest. So it's about, putting yourself in a position where you feel the strongest and best able to execute.
So Quentin is back, who unfortunately suffered a injury on his final squat, but he seems to be back on the platform benching and finishing out his competition.
Didn't seem to affect his opener. It's good news for Quentin that he's able to continue. Derek opening up on platform 1 with 175, that's 386 pounds.
Jarek is only weighing in at 73 kilos, benching 175 kilos.
Every single first attempt bench on platform 1 was successful, and we'll be moving on to second attempts here with Kurt Navarro taking 125 or 275 pounds.
Andrew Ernst up next here on platform 1, opening with 190 kilos, second to last opener of the day. Very easy opener for him.
Massive opener
Kurt Navarro, a lifter out of San Diego, California. Very soft touch on the bench. A little sticky on the way up. Able to lock out those triceps.
Push through it well. Referees say lift is good.
I'd expect a 2.5 kilo jump from them.
Gavin's opening up on bench press with 496 pounds. Thomas Kuhn's second attempt on bench press on platform 1, 137.5, 303 pounds. Stark can actually handle the chief referee. Moves it well. It is good for Thomas.
And backtracking a bit, that was a good lift for Gavin on platform 2, who actually opened up just 2.5 kilos under his all-time best of 227.5. Looks like training has gone well, and he's made some improvements because he looks to be increasing beyond that today.
Always a good sign when you can open that close to your bench. That's, especially when it's open to move as well as you did. Terrell Monroe taking 137.5, a 5 kilo increase.
Luke Monovan with a 7.5 kilo jump to 155 kilos.
Terrell fights through it well, and the lift is
Good for Terrell.
And our lifter from Ohio makes easy work out of 155 kilos, 2 for 2 so far on bench.
You're typically going to notice a lot smaller jumping attempts on bench press. 5, 7.5 kilos, maybe 10, depending on how much they can bench press. It's just something that the weight hits you pretty hard and can be difficult to handle if you jump much more than that.
Absolutely. Previously on squat, we were seeing jumps as far as 10, 15, 20, and beyond that. But here on bench press, a lot more calculated, a lot more reserved of a jump. I mean, when you think about the bench, you're using your chest, triceps, and shoulders, which are much smaller of muscles compared to your quads, glutes, hamstrings, and back. So naturally, you're just going to lift less weight compared to your squats and deadlifts. So you'll be taking a lot less of bigger jumps here. Jordan Flowers with a bit of a dance walking out the platform. He knows that was a good lift.
Eric Hogan's second attempt at 140.308 is good. One final point on that bench press jump is those weights, because folks can't bench as much as they can squat, typically it's going to be a larger percentage of your max the bigger jump you take. That makes it much more difficult to handle. Joshua Clark with 142.5 on platform 1.
Jose Barba on platform 2. Bit of work there for his second attempt, but nonetheless, 3 white lights and a good lift. Joshua Clark, 142.5. For those of us watching at home, Joshua Clark just benched 3 commercial gym plates, 3 wheels, so just goes to show how strong these lifters are here competing at the USA Powerlifting Male Raw Challenge at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Yeah, 3-plate bench press isn't something that's very commonplace, but we have several gentlemen here that are doing that on their openers or second attempts so far.
Talking about commercial gym plates, Craig Davis attempting 402 pounds, which is about 4 commercial gym plates here. Very close to 405 here.
Rigo with his second attempt bench at 150 kilos. That is 330 pounds. Make short work of it looks to be good.
That is 3 white lights on platform 2 and 3 white lights on platform 1.
Anthony Boy also taking 150. Open with the same weight as Rito, and second attempt is the same as well.
Anthony Poi and Caden Schaffelman both making their Arnold's debut. a very smooth 150 for Anthony. And the referees say 3 white lights. That is a good lift. Caden getting at lift out from the spotter, taking a 10 kilo jump, lifting 407 pounds. Very soft touch on the chest. Gets that press command. Let's see what those referees say. That is a good lift.
Increase the bar by 2.5 kilos for silver. 150, 2.5, 336 pounds.
Going back to our conversation about attempt selection and the jumps, we see here Quentin took a 15 kilo jump from 175 to 190.
Very controlled lift for silver. Looks good and executed well. Referees say it is. Good, either one. My assumption would be that she referee got elbow not quite.
Quentin again looking to get numbers on the board, who previously suffered a squat injury on his 3rd attempt squat, just looking to go 3 for 3 on the bench press.
Casey Pham with 160 kilos on platform 1. He's a pretty intricate setup. Doesn't leave a ton of time for himself on the clock, but it wasn't an issue on his first attempt.
Andrew with a very smooth 200 kilo bench attempt, which surprisingly enough is his 2nd USAPL meet, which he qualified for in November of 2024. So very new to the sport, but looking like a pro here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Mark Brazil taking 170 kilos, that's 374 pounds for his 2nd attempt. Mark weighing in at just under 75 kilos, which is 165 pounds. So benching 374 or 165 pounds. Benching 374 pounds at 165.
Mark Frizzell is able to lock out those triceps and secures 170 kilos for his 2nd attempt bench. Gavin with a monstrous 232.5 kilo bench attempt, 513 pounds, making easy work out of that.
Frankly, looked easier than his opener, I think. And Derek Sanchez went up to 187.5 kilos for his 2nd attempt. That's
So far, Gavin's having a fantastic meet, going 5 for 5 so far on bench.
tough one for Jared. And he can't quite break through the sticky point to lock it out. He'll have another shot at it on his 3rd attempt. We start 3rd attempts on platform on the Kurt Navarro. Taking a 2.5 kilo jump up, 127.5.
Again, bench is one of those lifts where you're going to feel every single one of those kilos. It's going to feel incrementally heavier than 2.5 kilo jumps compared to squats and deadlifts. Luke Monovan starting us off with our 3rd attempt bench presses here on platform 2, 162.5 kilos.
Not quite there for Luke, but he'll get credit for a second at 135.
Kurt Navarro, who was doing some last-minute stretching on the platform, setting himself up for 127.5 kilos. Just shy of his previous best of 130. Unfortunately, not quite there, not able to lock out those triceps at the very top. But still, walks away with 125, just loses 2.5 kilos, which isn't a lot on the total.
The minimum increase he couldn't have wasn't quite there, so you're not really losing anything at that point.
Jose Barba, who is able to lock it out and secures 165 kilos, gets himself on the board and is so far ending his day, his bench press going 6 for 6.
Terrell here on platform 1 is taking 140 kilos, also a 2.5 kilo jump, which is 308 pounds. Looking like a good decision for Terrell. Referees say the lift is. Building some suspense, it's good.
Jordan Flowers gets himself set up here. Bit of a nice sink on that bench press, and it works out for him. 3 white lights. He's very ecstatic about that.
Eric Hogan continuing the trend of 2.5 kilo jumps, going up to 142.5, 314 pounds. Looks like that would be a 2.5 kilo PR for Eric. Is successful.
A lot of intensity on the bar there and on the platform for Eric, getting himself psyched up for this last lift on his bench. Craig Davis, who will also be attempting a PR, taking a 7.5 kilo jump to 190 kilos. If successful, will end him off with a 5 kilo PR.
Very easy third attempt for Eric.
Strong attempt for Eric.
Which is good. 2 to 1.
Craig gets that press and fights through that sticking point. Looks to be a good lift, and it is. He secures himself a 5 kilo PR on his bench press.
Thomas Cruz, third attempt, 145 kilos. This would be a PR match for Thomas.
Caden looking for a PR of 2.5 kilos.
Thomas really taking his time, making sure his setup is the same as it was in his first and second attempt. Very well done by Thomas there. Excellent call. Let's go.
And very well done by Caden as well. Adds another 10 kilos to his total.
Joshua Clark taking 147.5. That's 325 pounds. Consistently taking 5 kilo jumps between first and second, and between second and third.
Joshua Clark was making his debut at the Arnold. Quentin looking to slap on another 10 kilos to his bench.
Resin, 200 kilo bench press. Can't quite fight through it, but really credit for this.
Looks like a good bench there for Quentin, and it is. And there he is yelling at the crowd, letting him know that's a good lift. What an amazing comeback from Quentin.
Anthony Poy, taking 152.5.
Excellent attempt selection there for Anthony. And he's 3 for 3 on bench press.
And a good attempt for Andrew on platform 2, who walks away with a 10 kilo PR and a new state record for him from Colorado.
Rito Flores taking 157.5 for his third attempt. attempt. A little bit of snap on squats. Been successful on his first bench press. Fight by Rito. Let's see what the referees think.
Rito Flores getting past that sticky point on the triceps, and referees say 3 white lights.
Same weight for Silver Garcia, 157.5.
Big Gavin up here on platform 2, 237.5 kilos. Makes great work out of that bench attempt.
He had some left over.
And with that, Gavin adds 10 kilos to his all-time best bench. We are now getting started on our opening bench attempts on platform 2 for our second flight. Kevin Yaboya will kick us off with 155 kilos.
And Silver's told to replace the bar. Don't believe his elbows were fully locked. He's got 20 seconds to fix it and get the start command from the chief referee. And he does.
Wasn't quite there for Silver on his third. He'll get credit for his second at 152.5. It's tough to replace the bar, come back and hit that attempt. A little bit of fatigue that builds up and you have to try to set up again. And it's just some additional stressors that can make it a little more challenging.
Especially on that third attempt when you're basically unracking and re-racking your max twice. Very hard to come back from that.
Bam at 165, 363 pounds.
Kevin Yaboya making easy work with 155.
Left on platform 1 as Casey gets himself set up. Doesn't quite have that today. We'll give credit for 160 on his second. Mark Brazell taking a 175, 3 reds, 386 pounds. His third attempt.
Lance London up next here on platform 2, 160 kilo opening bench attempt. Very important lift for Mark Frizzell here, who's currently forecasted in second place. If successful, it'll extend his position in second, who's battling for that top spot. And Mark is able to lock out those triceps. Let's see what those referees say about his last bench. 3 white lights, that is a good lift.
As we mentioned earlier, Mark has a bit of a narrower grip in the trade-off there. He's explosive off his chest, but lockout's going to be a little bit tougher. But he handled it well and was successful on his third.
Just like Mark's final lift, Jarek Sanchez is in a very critical spot here. If unsuccessful with this lift, he will fall behind in the placings, and Mark Frizzell will go past them in the forecasted placings. So very important lift for him here. If successful, he will end with a forecasted dots of 516, and Mark Frizzell currently sitting at 514. Jarek, let's see if he can lock it out. Unfortunately, he is unable to, so that will greatly affect the placings here as we move into deadlifts.
Jarek took a 12.5 kilo jump from his first attempt to his second, and that may have just been a little bit too much for him to handle on that. Now we will start off our openers on platform 1. Marcus Muse.
To keep you guys up to date on the action, Lance London was successful with 160 kilos on bench. Hayden up next with 165, successful lift as well. We got Brian Quimson up next with 175 kilo for his opening bench attempt.
Marcus starts off strong on his opener, looks like.
And so does Brian. Both lifters get white lights.
We'll have Nathaniel Neal coming up next, opening up with 142.5, 314 pounds.
Jesse Norman giving some instructions on how he would like his lift off to that head spotter and loader. Nathaniel Neal with a fast press command there. 3 white lights.
We'll have Nick Saya. Nick made his opening squat. Had some difficulties on his second and third. Start off on the right foot on bench press.
Again, very important here as an athlete to just have a short memory. It's very important to forget what happened in squat and just take the bench for what it is. Appreciate every single lift and go into every bench with the intensity and basically attack every lift, forgetting what happened previously.
Every discipline's a clean slate. What happened on squat doesn't matter.
Absolutely. It's not how you start, but how you finish here.
Looks like Nick started off pretty well there. 3 white lights, good lift.
And our best dressed lifter is back. Khalil Zaki up next here. Still rocking those shades.
Can't take him off now.
John Alexander opening up with 152.5.
336 pounds.
Very smooth bench by Khalil. 180 kilos. Sean Alexander, a fairly experienced lifter, competing since 2017. Joining us from the Twin Cities.
Excellent opener, looks like. Good lift. And Jared Arkfeld from the University of Michigan will open up with 160 kilos on platform 1.
Preston Savoy Jr. with a 190 kilo bench opener. Rest assured, Preston will be taking a big jump after this, as he is a bench press national champion in both equipped and in raw.
To that end, I believe he's competing tomorrow in the bench press as well.
Yes, he is one of those lifters that loves to compete.
Locks out his opener. Lift is good.
As we see here, Preston took a 25 kilo jump for his second attempt, so expect a big bench from him.
Thomas Swartout will be taking 170 kilos for his opener.
Quentin White with a 2 times bodyweight bench there, weighing in at only 100 kilos, benching 200, closing out our openers for Flight B.
Quentin is out of Georgia, if I recall correctly. Looking opener for Thomas. Good lift.
Very technical of a bench for him. Kevin Yaboya starting us off with our second attempt benches. 10 kilo jump to 165.
High win opening up with 172.5, 380 pounds.
This is just 2.5 kilos shy of Kevin's all-time best for his second attempt. But unable to get that bench up. Hopefully he's able to come back and hit it on his third attempt. Ty gets that start command. And then explosive opening attempt of 172.5. He is on the board.
Very well done by Ty, and Jason Moss will wrap up first attempts, 177.5.
Jason Moss currently forecasted in 5th with a 497 dot point. Benching 177.5 as an 82.5 kilo weight lifter.
Very, very solid opening attempt.
Lance London with a 7.5 kilo jump for his second attempt.
Start command. Very well. And it's good, 2-1.
Bit of an uneven lockout for Lance, but still, nonetheless, 3 white lights, and that is actually a 2.5 kilo PR for him.
Got Marcus starting him off on second attempts on platform 1 with 145.
Brendan with a 12.5 kilo jump from opener to second here on platform 2.
Marcus looking to continue his excellent execution on his second attempt bench press. And he looks to have done just that. Good lift. Bar is now called loaded for Nathaniel Neal. Our heaviest squatter on platform 1.
Hayden with a good lift on platform 2.
Hayden 2 for 2 on bench after some difficulties on squat. Good to see he stayed in the meet and is executing on bench press.
Khalil Zaki up next here on platform 2, taking a 5 kilo jump to 407 pounds, 185 kilos.
Nathaniel's second attempt bench is good, and we have Nick Thea taking his second attempt at 152.5.
For those of us watching at home, this is 4 commercial gym plates on platform 2. And he makes easy work out of that.
Just off Nick's PR.
Nick Sia still able to lock it out. Bit of work, but nonetheless, 3 white lights. Let's see where he goes from there.
I guess we should probably go for the PR max.
Again, once you start thinking about the third attempt benches, you don't want to get too aggressive here because every single kilo is going to be felt at your top end bench press. You really can't be increasing as aggressive of an attempt compared to your squats and deadlifts, as we'll see later on.
Another factor as well is some folks, if they grind on their bench press, their back will cramp up or something like that, which will have a lasting impact on deadlifts as the bench lifts. Sean Alexander with 162.5.
Brian Quimson with a very smooth 187.5 gets 1 red card, but nonetheless 2-1. That is a good lift. Sean Alexander on platform 1, 162.5.
Nicely done by Sean. Referees agree.
And our lifter out of kilo strength and performance. That is a good lift on 1.
There, our belt increases over by 5 kilos to 165. We've got Jesse coming up on platform 2. Jesse coached by Matt Fabro, being handled by Brad Couillard.
Jesse Norman with a smooth bench attempt. 3 white lights. That is a good lift.
So far, you wouldn't know this is Jesse's first high-level meet. He's executing very, very well. It's not quite there for Jared on his second. He'll get another crack at that on his third.
And again, it looked like he might have just gotten thrown out of position there. Something he can adjust moving into his 3rd attempt. Again, with bench, especially at this high of a level, your position, your technique is going to mean everything.
We have Thomas with 180 kilos on the bar for his second.
Quentin White with a monstrous bench press here, 212.5 kilos. Looked very easy. Again, as a reminder, he's only 100 kilos, so he's benching well over twice his body weight here.
Well done by Thomas on platform 1. It's a good lift, 2-to-1. A yellow card from one side, but the lift counts. Preston's successful here based on previous jumps. He may be setting himself up to be close to or at the 227.5 mark at 501 pound bench.
Again, Preston took a 25 kilo jump from his opener to second. Bit slower of a second, but as expected with that crazy of a jump. Again, as a reminder, Preston is a national champion in both equipped and in raw, so he's very experienced in this event.
Based on him competing tomorrow, I don't anticipate him going up to 227 after the second.
Jason Moss on 1. Makes easy work out of 402 pounds, 182.5 kilos. Referees say that is a good lift. 3 white lights.
Ty Wynn will be taking the same for his second attempt, and then we'll start third attempts on platform 1.
Staying the same way on platform 1, Ty Wynn, 182.5, and Kevin Yaboya retaking 165 kilos, which he missed on his second attempt. Let's see what those referees say on Kevin Yaboya's third attempt bench. I believe he got called for up and down movement of the bar, though he did lock out the movement, the bar. That bar did dip back down, which is not allowed here under the rules of performance at USA Powerlifting's rulebook.
Ty's second attempt is good at 402. And we're starting third attempt.
Bar is loaded for Lance London on platform 2, looking to end his day 6 for 6, taking a 2.5 kilo jump, a very conservative jump here. And a good lift by Lance London on platform 2. And again, very important for these lifters to get as many lifts on the board, as it'll be critical once we start the deadlifts and these lifters begin jockeying for position. Brendan McGuire now on 2, Nathaniel Neal on 1. Brendan having a tough fight with 172.5, unable to block that out. And with that, Nathaniel Neal walks away with a 7.5 kilo PR on the bench press.
Big PR for bench press. You can see it going for the PR on platform 1 at 157.5. His best coming into the day was 155.
Uneven lockout there for Hayden, unable to lock out that left tricep. Unfortunately, a no lift for him on the third.
Not quite there for Nick on his third. He got credit for 152.5. Jared coming up now, retaking 165 after he was unsuccessful on his second attempt. Bounce back on his third.
Brian Quimson looking to end his day off 6 for 6 in the bench press event with a very conservative 2.5 kilo jump.
Good fight by Jared, but not quite there.
And a great lockout and bench press by Brian. Oh, and unfortunately, he got called 2-1, a no lift from the side referees. I believe maybe his butt came up.
Yeah, frequently, if it's from the sides, his butt coming up, maybe his feet not remaining flat.
Nonetheless, Brian still walks away with a PR bench press.
Sean Alexander taking 170 on platform 1.
Khalil Zaki coming up next here on platform 2, who's currently forecasted in 5th.
Bit of an unconventional approach for Khalil. Went a 5 kilo jump from first to second, then 10 kilos from second to third.
Let's see how this strategy plays out for Khalil. Sean Alexander with a 7.5 kilo jump as well. And unfortunately, Khalil Zaki was not successful with his bench attempt again. He took a 5 kilo jump from opener to second and a 10 kilo jump from second to third. So very aggressive and very interesting attempt selection there, which unfortunately did not pan out in his favor.
Thomas now taking 185, breaking into the 400-pound range. Our final 3 benches on platform will all be 400 pounds.
Jesse Norman attempting just 2.5 kilos shy of his all-time best at 197.5 kilos for his third attempt bench press.
I think it's a smart call to go with what looks to be more of a sure thing for Jesse, to go 6 for 6 heading into. Great call for Jesse.
Good lift for Thomas on 1.
And good lift for Thomas for Jesse on 2.
Very, very good call on bench there. Not the easiest attempt. Not the easiest attempt, but fought through it, and he's 6 for 6 going. Yep.
And again, very important lifts for these 2 lifters coming up next on both platform 1 and platform 2. Jason Moss, who's currently forecasted in 4th with a 504 dot point, and Quentin White, who's currently forecasted in 3rd with 505 dot points. So very close lifters who are both in need of their 3rd bench press in order to stay within podium level distance.
Can't quite
Jason
break
Moss unable to lock out 187.5.
Ty Wynn will round out third attempt bench presses on platform 1 with 190 kilos.
And Quentin White puts up a beautiful fight with 220 kilos. Looks to be successful. He gets that on the board. And again, as a reminder, he is sub 100 kilos, benching over twice his body weight. What an impressive bench by him.
Nearly 500 pounds at weighing in at 98.9 kilos.
Ty Wynn looking to close out flight B on platform 1 and Preston Savoy Jr. on platform 2.
Preston going up by 20 kilos on platform 2. I wouldn't have predicted that after his second, but Preston has faith in himself. He's executed many times before on a high level. Let's see what he can do.
That is a good lift for Ty on platform 1, 190 kilos. That was a 10 kilo PR for Ty.
Finish up bench presses.
Still a valiant effort for Preston there, able to get it off his chest. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our bench press session here at the Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge presented by USA Powerlifting here in Columbus, Ohio. We just wrapped up our benches, and as it currently stands, Mark Frizzell leads the pack with a 513 point forecasted points, followed by Jarek Sanchez at 507, Quentin White at 505, and not too far behind is Jason Moss in 4th place with 500, and Anthony Poi in 5th place, rounding us out with 449.7 dots. My name is Kevin Serrano, and I'm here joined by, and we'll be taking a 10-minute intermission break as we get settled and started with our deadlifts for today. Welcome back. We are getting started with our deadlifts here at the Arnold Sports Festival Male Raw Challenge presented by USA Powerlifting in the Greater Columbus Convention Center in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Kevin Serrano. I'm here joined by, and we will be your commentators wrapping up our deadlift session here. We're getting started here with Rito Flores, who is opening up with 70 kilos. I believe he
had a struggle on his squat, and it looks like he may have injured himself.
Yeah.
He's getting a token deadlift into total.
and I wouldn't be shocked to see him scratch a second or third. That looked a little rough for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a bit of an injury there on his squat, needing to get something on the board in order to secure his total.
Kevin, there's going to be a lot of, wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of different changes in placing here. We'll have our deadlift specialists that are able to open up big and set themselves up for potentially getting in that top 3, winning the money and the pro card.
Absolutely. And Quentin, another one of those lifters that unfortunately had a bit of an injury on squat, just taking 175 as a deadlift. Who knows if he will go up from there or if he will stay, as we see on platform 1. Rito Flores has actually zeroed out his second and third squats and will not be lifting for the remaining lifts.
It looks like that squat injury or whatever may have happened. He's not going to gamble anything and is just going to call it a day.
Eric Hogan on platform 1, 232.5 kilos, conventional puller. Makes easy work out of that. Andrew Ernst on platform 2, 3 white lights for him.
Kurt Navarro's now up to 240 kilos for his opener. Kurt weighed in at 59.7 kilos and is opening up with 240 kilos. A very, very
4 times bodyweight deadlift.
for Kurt Navarro.
Well, good lift.
Looks to be a good lift for Luke as well on platform 2, and it is. I wouldn't be surprised to see some pretty substantial jumps on deadlift. Taking an easy opener, especially with a long and a fast day at the same time. You want to conserve energy as much as possible for that big third pull and try to put yourself in position to win the big bucks.
Caden Schaufelman, 255 kilos. Double overhand hook grip.
You hear the crowd getting behind Thomas for his opener. I know there's a pretty big contingency from Michigan here.
Craig Davis, a speedy opener. 3 white lights there. Or that was Thomas Coons. Craig Davis is up next here on platform 2, 270 kilos.
Silva Garcia will also be opening up with 250 kilos, same weight as Thomas.
Very calm and poised setup by Craig. Very easy attempt there. Little sticky there at the quads, but he's able to lock it out and get those hips through. Gets 3 white lights.
Good patience off the floor. And sumo is something that's extremely important for loose positioning. It's something that can really greatly affect the lift to make it substantially more difficult than, say, a conventional, which is a little bit less technical.
600-pound opener there by Jose on platform 2. 3 white lights. That is a good lift.
Anthony Coy opening up with 260 kilos. Getting close to the 600-pound mark. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Anthony hits that with his second attempt.
And with that, Anthony Poi is currently at 499.7 dots points, inching close to that top 5 position.
It's like the top 5 are all within about 13 points of each other. And that may sound like a lot, but with folks that are potentially opening light, it's still anybody's game at this point.
Garrow gets the down command, and it's a good lift for him.
And that was a good lift for Jordan Flowers on platform 2 as well, 287.5. Gavin will close out our opening lifts with 297.5. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow the action, go to liftingcast.com, scroll down to USA Powerlifting ASF Male Raw Challenge, and there you'll see all the data, all the stats, and all of the forecasted placings as we read them to you here live.
Okay, it's pretty interesting. My first Arnold was about 10 years ago, and the points required to even qualify then were around 400, 425. It looks like most everybody, I think everybody at this point, is well above that, and we haven't even finished our first attempt deadlifts yet. So the standard is rapidly increasing, and I expect to go even higher in the years to come.
Just with the opening deadlifts, we have several lifters who are currently forecasted over 500 DOTS points. This is not something you would have seen just a few years ago. It just goes to show how much the level of talent has increased here in the USA Powerlifting stage.
Casey Pham's opener, 275 kilos, 606 pounds. Competing with 75 kilo class, he weighed in at 74.5. So
165 pounds, opening with 606 on deadlift. Casey needs to be careful when he puts that bar down. Recently, the floor change. The slamming the bar is now an infraction. He got the lift, but he'll want to be sure he's a little bit more careful on his second and third.
And Quentin with a little dance as he walks off the platform. Very ecstatic to be joining us and finishing out his deadlifts.
Mark Frizzell opening up with 280 kilos to finish off first attempts.
Mark Frizzell is our lifter who's currently forecasted in first if successful with this opening attempt.
And it is a no lift. Looks like he didn't lock it out, according to the chief and the right side referee.
Now Rito scratching his second and third does make the flight a little shorter. It's a fairly normal sized flight, so it shouldn't have too much of an impact on anybody's strategy at this point.
Very patient off the floor for Luke. Gets that down command. Looks to be a good lift, 3 white lights. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this deadlift session will move fairly fast as we're just moving along into our second attempts on both platforms. So please stay tuned as these deadlifts will go by fast.
And don't blink or you might miss a couple of attempts.
Here's Hogan getting himself set for his second attempt deadlift on platform 1.
Very routine setup for him there.
I think he went with the old finger gun strategy to get set up. You don't see that too often anymore.
Seems to be working well for him as he locks it out and gets that down command.
The 2-1 chief referee calls again for lockout.
Andrew Ernst was successful on platform 2 with 270 kilos, upping the bar to 10 kilos to 280 kilos for Caden.
Kurt Navarro's taking 252.5.
Make sure he gets those fist bumps to those spotters and loaders.
Almost left him hanging there, but he did get his attention. Got the fist bump.
Almost ran down his clock, waiting for those fist bumps.
You don't want a timeout if you're trying to get a fist bump.
Kurt Navarro deadlifting well over 4 times his body weight there.
This is only a second attempt.
Very, very impressive. Very patient on the floor, locks it out. Looks good from here. Referees agree.
Joshua Clark will be loading up to 257.5 for him.
Bars loaded on both platform 1 and platform 2.
Joshua locks it out.
And so does Jose. Both get the down command. And both get 3 white lights.
A good lift for Joshua.
Silver Garcia, same weight on the bar for him.
This lift for Silver will put him over 500 dots on the forecasted placings. Very big milestone attempt here for silver.
Kevin, looking at the scoring, how many right now forecast folks are above or 500 dots above?
We have currently 8 lifters forecasted scoring above 500 dots points. That's incredible here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Good lift for silver. Yeah, 500 dots is not an easy feat to accomplish, but having 8 folks currently with more likely to come is extremely impressive. Thomas Coons jumped 17.5 kilos from his first to his second. Not terribly unheard of on conventional deadlifts.
Craig Davis makes great work out of his 25 kilo jump with 295. 3 white lights, that is a good lift.
A lot of folks find conventional to be a little bit more taxing, so they open a little bit lighter than they may on sumo, and then take bigger jumps to try to get themselves in position to resist. Thomas looks to have plenty left in the tank for his third attempt. It's a good lift. Taking 606, up above 600 pounds as we suspected he would be on a second attempt.
That is a great lift by Jordan Flowers. Gavin, who will be looking to close out our opening attempts here, or second attempts here on platform 2 with a 300 kilo attempt.
Anthony Boyd's lift is good. Mark Frizzell will be retaking 280 after he missed it on his opener.
Oh, and unfortunately, I believe the bar was slipping from Gavin's hand just as he got the down command, so that will be a no lift for him.
He wasn't quite able to keep it locked out and get the command. He'll have another shot at it though. Mark locks it out. He got called for his shoulders not being back last time, and he fixed it. Good lift for Mark.
Quentin up next here with 275 kilos. Going from 3 reds to 4 reds and up to 5 reds here for his final deadlift. And as you can see from his belt, he's definitely competed, and he is a well-seasoned lifter competing from all over across the country at our various nationals and state championships.
It looks like after Quentin had a bit of a scare on squats, he comes back and
hits a double bicep for the fans and walks away dancing to the crowd. Competing at the Arnold is not a opportunity that everybody receives. So if you are watching, if you are a family friend from these lifters, if you want to make these moments unforgettable, please visit barbellproductions.com and you can order pictures to make these moments like these last a lifetime. Luke Monovan on platform 2. Jarek Sanchez makes easy work out of 285 kilos.
Jarek has not had a very high success rate today, only making 1 squat and 1 bench, but he is still within striking distance of the top 3. Casey Pham taking 295 for a second attempt, and then we'll start third attempts on platform 1.
Very easy deadlift for Casey. He goes 9 for 9.
I still got 1 left today for it. Nope, sorry. Nope. Looks like not quite. Casey looking at the wrong lifter. Kevin got too excited.
Andrew Ernst does go 9 for 9 and secures a 511 dot point, currently sitting in 5th on the forecasted placings.
All right, Eric Hogan, our first third attempt, taking 252 152.5.
556 pounds.
The lifters here on third attempts are really trying to maximize their placing because they are at a bit of a disadvantage with the flights after them, knowing where they've already placed and what their dots are. They can then craft their attempt selection strategy accordingly to try to beat them. So they need to really maximize their dots, get as much on the bar as possible without missing.
Caden locks out 300 kilos and gets 3 white lights. That is a good attempt for him. Eric Hogan as well with 252.5 kilos. 2-1.
Good for Eric. He got that red in the center every time, but it didn't matter. Got each one 2-1.
Gavin looking to retake 300 kilos, which he missed as the bar slipped out of his hand. Let's see if he can make that adjustment here on his third attempt.
Kevin, what would you do if you lost the bar and grip on it to try to really shore that up for the subsequent attempt?
I'd really try to dig my hand deeper into that bar, get as much surface area on the knurling as possible. Let's see if Gavin can make that adjustment. He locks it out, and he does. Gets that down command from our chief referee, and gets 3 white lights.
It's not an easy thing to do when you lose on grip to come back and then hit it. It's pretty challenging because it starts to get in your head a little bit. Kurt looking to make his third deadlift here to round out his day.
257.5 on the bar. Very patient, but not quite able to get it off the floor.
He'll get credit for his second. Now, Silver Garcia taking a pretty sizable jump from 257.5 up to 270. After only jumping 7.5 kilos from his first to his second.
Jose Barba did put up a good fight with 300 kilos, but unable to get it past the knees.
My assumption here is this is strictly for placing because this will move from 6th to 3rd, at least temporarily. You're trying to place as high as you can, starting out deadlifts in this flight to give himself the best shot and the highest place possible after the flight after.
Silver Garcia looking to move into provisional 5th place.
Not quite there for Silver.
But when you're in a stage like this, I don't blame you for trying to go for broke. And
Absolutely.
See where you can get yourself the best chance. You never know when you'll be back.
Again, Craig asking support from the crowds. The crowd here at the Arnold Sports Festival is electric. We can just hear the noise just from the commentator's booth.
Both gentlemen taking pretty big jumps.
From 2nd to 3rd. Josh is fighting it. Had the shakes. Can't quite clear his knees with it.
Craig locks it out and is successful with 310 kilos. That's a new PR for him.
For the crowd as he walks off. Fortunately, we can see Craig.
Anthony Poi will put himself at least temporarily into first place and be successful with this deadlift. Anthony will at least temporarily be in first place if he's successful with this pull. It looks like he may well have been. And he is. He's at least temporarily in first place. We don't know how everything else will shake out.
And Jordan Flowers putting up a great fight with 310 kilos. Just couldn't get at the knees and loses it there, but still salutes the crowd. Great sportsmanship shown here by Jordan Flowers.
Anthony Poi ends with a 517 dots. The battle for the top 3 positions is going to be a close one.
Thomas Coons getting the slack pull, getting ready for his third attempt at 282.5. Suspecting Michigan continues to be very loud for him. And they are, and he looks to have it. Let's see what the referees say about it. Lift is good, 2-1. Excellent job by Thomas.
So Jordan Poi currently leads the pack with 517 dots, followed by Jarek Sanchez at 514 and Mark Frizzell at 513. However, Jarek and Mark still have left to go on their final deadlift, so let's see how these placings shake up as they wrap up on platform 1. We get started here on platform 2 with Preston Savoy Jr. on his opening attempt deadlift with that very narrow grip of a hook grip on the bar. Seems to work well for him. And he gets 3 whites.
Now, Jarek and Mark do have their third attempt still to go, and they can change that. And they may want to consider that simply because they may be pulling more than they need to get themselves into first. But at the same time, you want to try to put yourself in the best spot prior to the flight that's following.
Despite unsuccessful on platform 1, Terrell Monroe still sits in 5th place with 509 dot points.
Jared's currently in second, looking to get into first. And he locks it out.
And Jared locks it out.
Loses his balance, isn't quite able to get the down command.
Unfortunately, a no lift for Jarek, who ends his day with 514 dots. Mark Frizzell with an all or nothing pull here, currently sitting in 3rd place, looking to pull himself into gold medal position here with 527 dot points if successful with his 300 kilo pull, taking a 20 kilo jump.
Now Mark misses opener, has been a little bit inconsistent today, so let's see if he can pull it all together for one final pull to jump ahead of Anthony into first place from 3rd, at least temporarily.
And Mark gets it done.
And he does. Mark ends
3 white lights.
Pending Casey's deadlift in first place. Yeah, it looks like he will be in first place.
We still got a lot of lifting left to go with flight B in platform 2 and in platform 1. However, Mark Frizzell currently your leader with 527 dots, followed by Anthony Poi and Jarek Sanchez rounding out the podium.
A testament to Anthony Poy's execution. He went 8 for 9 on the day, and with a 517 dots.
Casey Pham finishing up our first flight with a 310 kilo deadlift, 683 pounds. And can't quite lock it out. Solid effort.
We're about halfway through our openers on platform 2. We got Hayden up next here on 295 kilo opener.
We have some huge openers coming later in the flight on platform 2.
Nathaniel Neal starting us off on platform 1 with 235 kilos. Very easy over for Nathaniel.
3 white lights on 1.
So we're waiting on Kevin on platform 2. We have a minute to begin the deadlift. There's no commencement signal, so just beginning the deadlift is the marker for that, and got about 30 seconds left.
John Alexander opening with 245 on platform 1.
Sean Alexander taking his time getting set up here on 1. It looks like Kevin Yaboya might be timing out here.
Kevin only made 1 squat and 1 bench.
So I'm sure he is deciding to
Cut things there, or what his plan may be. Sean Alexander's first attempt
is a good lift. Nick Sia. Oh, sorry, Marcus Muse. With 260 first, and then Nick. And we're going to break into the 700-pound range. Not quite with Quentin. We're at 699.97. We don't round up around here. But after him, we'll be hitting 700 or more.
A very fast opener for Quentin there. essentially a 700-pound deadlift there.
Quinn knows surely be well above 700 for his second attempt.
Marcus up next here on 1. 573 pounds, making it look like easy work there. Gets that down command, and referees say 3 white lights.
Now Nicosia. Also with 260. Huge opener for Lance now, 335 kilos. Tough opener there for Nick, locks it out.
We are well past 700 pounds here on platform 2. Lance London making 335 kilos look like a joke.
Lance's range of motion is, for lack of better term, insane. I would expect him to take a huge jump from his first to his second. He's sitting pretty, even though he may be pretty far back right now for forecasting now.
Khalil Zaki with our biggest opener of the day, 340 kilos, 750 pounds as an opener.
Snappy opener for Thomas on 1. Good.
Hits that double bicep and fist bumps Gino.
Based off his opener is making sure his knees get locked on the second and third. They were locked there, nothing was called, but as that weight gets heavier, you need to be mindful of that to ensure that he can execute the lift with any moves. Ty Wynn opening with 270 kilos on platform 1.
Jesse Norman up next here on platform 2. 22.5 kilo jump for him.
Ty's opener was frankly so fast that he wasn't able to keep his balance and didn't get the down command. The white light was an errant white light from the chief referee.
Jesse Norman successful with his second attempt at deadlift.
Jesse's 8 for 8 so far. Wouldn't expect too big of an increase for him there. Deadlift tends to be the one Jesse struggles with the most, and I imagine they're going to look to lock in a 9 for 9 day here. Jared Arkfeld opening with 275 kilos, had a rough time on bench press, looking to bounce back. Locks it out, should be good from what we can tell. That is good. Jason Moss opening with 275 as well on platform 1, and then we'll start second attempts.
Preston Savoy Jr. getting his belt set up here with a 300 kilo attempt on his second dead.
It looks to be good for Jason, and it is. Preston, as you mentioned, Kevin, has that very narrow grip on deadlift. I guess the positive, the benefit to that is it shortens your range of motion, but your risk of getting caught on your thighs elevates a bit and makes it hard for you to get your shoulders back.
Just look at that bend in his arms as he locks out that deadlift. Seems to be working well for him as he gets 3 white lights.
Nathaniel Neal starting us off on second attempts on platform 1. Taking a 25 kilo jump, mirroring his jumps, or at least similar to his jumps on squat, where he took very large jumps in each attempt.
Kevin Yaboya seems to be coming out for 305 kilos, who we originally thought was timing out due to going 2 for 6 coming into deadlifts, but seems to be at least coming out to attempt 305 kilos.
Still post a total, so as long as he's successful, we'll get a total on the board.
Sia only jumping 5 kilos from first to second. His first one was pretty challenging. Does lock out his second there.
And unfortunately, Kevin Yaboya will not be able to post a total thus far, being unsuccessful with his first 2 deadlift attempts. Still got 1 more remaining left to go, but unsure if he'll be able to secure a total on this third.
And anything can happen, even though that was what looked to be an issue on strength.
You can get fired up enough to really just focus in for 1 attempt, using everything you have left. I've seen it happen, but it's a difficult thing to overcome because you start to feel pretty down, pretty disappointed. You have to try to clear that from your mind so you can just make 1 lift to get your total on the board.
Sean Alexander with 265 on platform 1. Hayden with 307.5 on platform 2. Hayden able to get past that sticky point and gets 3 white lights. Sean with that double overhand hook grip sumo position.
Sean very patient off the floor, locks it out. And no lift, looks like he got called for lockout. Yep, and he isn't putting up any fight for that. He understood. He'll fix it for his third.
Brian Quimson up next here on platform 2 with a 27.5 kilo jump from 280 to 307.5.
Sean's fellow Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety member, Thomas, is following him with 277.5.
Brian, one of those lifters that's inching very close to that 500 dot points. With this lift, we'll put him at 494. I'm sure he'll attempt to secure 500 dots with his third attempt. Expect to see that very soon.
Mark is still in first as a break now. See how that shakes out as we round out second attempts and go to third.
This will be a PR match for Thomas on his second attempt. 277.5 kilos, 611 pounds, 3 white lights. That is a good lift.
Tough off the floor, but locked it out. I wouldn't expect too big of a jump here. I imagine he'll try to secure himself a PR. I'd say 5 kilos or so.
Let's see what the referees say on Quentin White's deadlift. 2-to-1, that is a good lift.
That's not terribly surprising. Lockout was a little bit challenging.
I like to call him for his knees not being locked from the chief referee. Marcus Muse taking a 20 kilo jump to 280 kilos. Lance London up to 782 pounds, if I'm reading that correctly. Nicely done for Marcus on his second.
Got plenty left. We could potentially have a couple of folks here flirting with 800 pounds on deadlift, depending on how the second attempt go here.
We're getting very close to the 800 pound mark here.
Got Jared taking 285 on 1.
Very fast off the ground, but gets past that sticky point on the quads and gets 3 white lights.
A little bit of a struggle to get his shoulders through.
He can do that. I think he has 800 there, but that'll be where he gets stuck if he's unable to finish it off and he goes for 800.
And with that, Jared is actually able to secure a 5 kilo PR on his deadlift from just, unfortunately, he got called 2-to-1, no lift from the referees.
Lockout. 793 for Khalil. It's successful here. Doesn't really have much of a choice but to go for 800 or close to it. Ty win with 285.
Khalil Zaki makes great work out of 360 pounds. Knows how ridiculously easy that was. 3 white lights and a good lift.
I honestly thought that looked better than his opener in terms of lockout and everything that goes along with it.
Ty locked it out. He missed his first and went up 15 kilos anyway. Got the lift. Not something that is typically recommended, but it didn't seem to rattle him in any way. Like Jesse went up 5 kilos, which makes sense based
based on how his second looked.
For those friends and family watching from home, be sure to visit barbellproductions.com to snag photo packages available online to capture these moments and live them forever.
Jesse looking to lock in a 9-for-9 day at his first national level meet, which is a huge accomplishment in of itself with the level of refereeing we have out there. Jason taking 300 kilos for his second on platform 1. Looks to be a good lift for Jason.
With this deadlift, Jason secures 517 dots.
Start thirds on 1.
Jesse successful with this final deadlift. And on both platforms, we're moving right along to our third attempt deadlifts. As we see here on the forecasted, we got Lance London, who's attempting 380.5 kilos, which is a record. We'll see that shortly, followed by Khalil Zaki, who will be attempting 381. A lot of records left to come. But up next, we have Brendan McGuire, who unfortunately is not able to hit 317.5 kilos. Nick Sia here on platform 1, 600-pound attempt for his final deadlift.
Nick Sia taking a 7.5 kilo increase and wasn't able to break it off the floor,
But he will get credit for his second attempt. Now with Lance and Khalil, they're both in the same weight class, it looks like. One took 380 and a half and one took 381. Realistically, both could have taken 380 and a half. And if Lance was successful, would have automatically increased to 381 for Khalil. Khalil could drop it down to 380 and a half if Lance misses. But we'd have to make sure he gets that done in a timely manner.
as in prior to the chief referee calling mark. Nathaniel Neal on platform 1, taking 275 for his third attempt. Brian's looks good on 2. Nathaniel locks it out. Lift is good. Looks like he had a 9-for-9 day. Sean Alexander missed his second on lockout and went up by 10 kilos to 275. Sean on 1. His deadlift will move him from 27th to 18th, so he's dropping quite a few positions.
Gotta make sure he gets himself locked out.
Brian Clemson makes great work out of 317.5 kilos. 3 white lights, that is a good lift. Sean Alexander, 275 kilos.
Can't quite get it there.
Unable to hit that final deadlift.
Thomas Swartout will be going 282 and a half. Quinn's looking to pull himself from 4th into 2nd, at least temporarily. This is where we get down to the wire. The attempt changes. There's going to be suspense. It's all going to come down to their execution.
Quentin currently sitting in 4th position, looking to move himself into 2nd provisionally if successful with this 340 kilo deadlift attempt. Gets that down command. Let's see what the referees say about his knees. That is 3 white lights for him.
Thomas with a heck of a grind at lockout. Wasn't able to hang on to the bar prior to the down command. A great effort though.
Preston looking to go from 19th to 10th with this 50 kilo increase between each attempt for Preston. That is unique, to say the least.
Jared Arkfeld looking to succeed with 285 after missing it on his second. Jared locks it out. See what the referees say about it. lift is good.
For Jared, he comes back and hits it on his third after missing on his second.
Unfortunately, a no lift for Preston there on platform 2.
Ty Wynn taking
92.5. Lance London looking to pull himself from 7th into 3rd. He did lower his third attempt deadlift from what it was at 380.5 down to 370.
still 815 pounds. Ty's third attempt is good.
Lance London, if successful with this deadlift, will move into 3rd place. That is assuming that all other lifters missed their 3rd lift. So the very important lift for him today.
Jason's currently forecasted 1st, it looks like, and Jason's the last deadlifter on platform 1 and has a 315 kilo pull.
So Mark Frizzell and Quentin White are the 2 lifters who are sitting in 1st and 2nd place respectively. So they will be defending their position from the stand since they already concluded all of their deadlifts.
Now, the tricky part here, Kevin, is Jason has to try to be as mindful as he can of what's going on platform 2 to see if he needs to change his 3rd attempt deadlift depending on the results of theirs.
Absolutely, since both platforms are going head-to-head against each other, both coaching staffs and lifters need to be keeping an eye as what the other lifters on the opposing platform are doing.
Now the challenge of that is you still only have your minute after the bar is called loaded, so you can only wait so long. And once it's loaded, you can't change the attempt.
Marcus over on platform 1 with an incredible 295 kilo attempt. That is 3 white lights for him. What a day, what a way to end off his deadlift. Lance London here, 370 kilos.
Can't quite lock it out.
Loses a bit of balance there.
Now he could have potentially taken something lower and jumped up, into a different placing, but
3rd place would have gotten him, looks like $1,000.
so
Very important lifts coming on both platforms. First, we got Jason Moss on platform 1, who's actually pulling for the gold medal position here with a 350 kilo deadlift, which will put him at a forecasted 528 dot points.
Khalil on 2 is looking to go from 9th to 2nd with an American record attempt.
Jason Moss,
wow,
350 kilos.
Like he was successful to put himself into 1st. Khalil cannot change.
Jason Moss is your provisional champion. We still got one more lift left to go, but as it stands,
has been called loaded. He can't change his attempt, so it looks like Jason will be our winner. But this will put Khalil into 3rd, get him $1,000 and a pro card.
Khalil looking to move from 9th to 3rd with this deadlift attempt and an American record attempt.
Can he lock it out?
Let's lock it out. Lock it out. Just getting stuck there at the knees.
Get it there.
Slips out of his hands. What an incredible attempt there by Khalil. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Male Raw Challenge here at the Arnold Sports Festival, presented to us by USA Powerlifting. My name is Kevin Serrano.
I'm Dane Roach.
And we were bringing you guys the live stream commentary for today, brought to you guys and hosted by Barbell Productions. So if you are family, friends of any of these lifters, be sure to visit barbellproductions.com to look at any of the photo packages that they have available in store online. That concludes our session for today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.